I'm supposed to be reading the Twilight Princess manga right now, but I got sidetracked, and instead I'm reading Bride by Ali Hazelwood. You might know her from writing The Love Hypothesis, which I read and didn't like very much. It felt very fan-fiction-y, because it was. It was a Raylo fan fiction, famously, and I like Raylo just fine. The Love Hypothesis just didn't hit very well for me. Too corny, just overall didn't really love it. But I thought I'd try this because this one's paranormal. It's a vampire and a werewolf in a fake marriage that's real, sort of. The premise is vampires and werewolves hate each other, and they're trying to like soothe the tensions. So they're having a vampire marry an alpha werewolf, and that's all I know about it. I didn't actually read the synopsis before I grabbed it from the library. I didn't want to know a lot about it, but I am 16% in, 2 hours out of 13, I believe. I wasn't going to do clips for it because I don't know where I'm even putting this, but I just have some opinions and Sarah's asleep, so I thought I would do clips. It's fine. I'm actually enjoying it pretty okay, but I am, again, over 2 hours in, and the love interest has barely featured. 16% in, and he has had like 2 scenes, one of which he actually said more than a sentence. So that's what's the only thing getting to me. Because it's fun. I like the premise. I actually really like arranged marriages in this context, especially like to unite 2 sides. I think that's fun. There's the werewolves really hate the vampires. Like, the werewolves seem way the aggressors in this particular situation, and our lead is a vampire. So it sounds fun. I just am sitting here waiting for the love interest to show up, and it's starting to get to me. 2+ hours in, and they haven't had more than like a handful of paragraphs. So that's where I'm at right now. I'll check in when I have another thought. I'm not entirely sure I'll finish this tonight, but we'll see. It took 30% of the book, but finally Lo is in it a decent amount. He's in a lot of the scenes, so I'm enjoying it more. So far, I'm actually quite enjoying it. Definitely more than The Love Hypothesis. And I can't help but compare this directly to Not the Witch You Wed, which I just attempted to read. Because obviously it's the same thing with like fake dating, marriage stuff. But I hate to say I'm enjoying this more. I guess I just really feel the stakes here. The stakes for Not the Witch You Wed were more personal. Like, they had issues that would happen if they didn't do the mating, whereas this feels like the whole world is at stake for them if this doesn't work out how it looks. So I guess that's more intriguing. But I like Lo just fine. I like Misery, the main character, just fine. I like the little sister, his little sister. She's cute. I like the dynamic. It's a lot of, I don't know how to say this where it won't sound mean. It's nothing you haven't seen before. And I've noticed that about Ellie Hazelwood's last book that I read. It's all just stuff you've seen before. But if you read a lot, then I don't think that will bother you, because everything, for the most part, is kind of something you've seen before. Everyone has favorite tropes. So, like, forced arranged marriage, and then, like, the trope of, oh, a sweet, adorable little kid who immediately bonds with the outsider coming in, and it makes the love interest want to bond with them, too. So it's, like, an immediate little family. And then, like, her friend is missing, and she's looking for her. It's just a lot of very familiar dynamics, and that's fine. If it's executed well, I don't have a problem with it. If it was bad, then I would probably be complaining, but I'm liking it fine. I think I'm 40% in now. Definitely not going to finish it tonight because it's like 3 in the morning, but I am going to finish it, and it's probably going to get 4 stars as of now. I can't do halves on Goodreads, which is really deeply annoying, by the way. I don't know why Goodreads sucks, but it does. But yeah, so having a good time so far. I haven't been irritated. I would love it if this avoided the trope of the characters falling out with each other and then getting back together just for 4 more pages of the book. They haven't so much as kissed yet. I will say the slow burn is slowly burning. There's been very little obvious romantic overtures, Is the way I say that right? It's an interesting thing they're doing. I keep switching me holding it because my arm's getting tired. At the beginning of every chapter, there's like a little line or two that's Lo's POV, except it's third person, but it's his POV. So you're getting very direct his feelings for a few sentences, sometimes one sentence, which I actually am really liking. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, like, they're not touching. They certainly haven't kissed. Absolutely slow. I won't say it's worrying me yet. I'm a little worried that it's going to go from 0 to 60 and like they're going to have no interactions whatsoever, not even like a hand brushing or like hand on waist or anything. And then they're going to either fool around or have sex, which I don't want for this. I want like close calls. I like those. But I'm a little worried that if there hasn't been any romantic-ish stuff yet, that there might not be too much in this book. I heard it was like pretty smutty. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll let you know when I find out. I apologize for how dark this is, but this will be fast. Okay, so I don't know what happened, but this book, it just immediately got like really, really good. Like really, really good. They're off meeting with some people and it got very fun because he now in his own little bits of internal dialogue has admitted that she is his mate. So just these little tiny pieces we're getting now are really great, and I will say my fear has been quelled of the, oh, is it going to go from 0 to 60? Because there's a lot of internal dialogue about it now. So that's good enough for me. So we're doing good. I finished Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I loved it. I loved it from 30% to the very end. It was really great. And the only kind of complaint I have is they sort of do the third act breakup, but not really. It happens so late that it's like they have a little fight kind of thing, and then immediately the climax starts, and then the next time they see each other, essentially they resolve it. I don't love that it happened 10 minutes after she lost her virginity to him. That bothered me, but it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't even enough to get me to knock it down a star. So, yeah, great. I highly recommend it if you want some fun paranormal stuff. I forgot how much I love werewolves as love interests. It's a real good time, and I'm very glad I read it. I read it on a whim. I think I saw a quote on TikTok from the book that I thought was like kind of silly. I was like, I'm bored. I'll go read it. So that was great. And the ending set up a very clear sequel that will come with 2 new characters. I was devastated to find out that this book came out in February of this year, which means I probably have a good year before the next one comes out, but actually maybe not, because Ali Hazelwood has a really fast turnaround. I think Love Hypothesis came out like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and she has like 5 books, several novellas. I think she's a doctor. I think that woman is a doctor in real life, and she also writes books. So if she can do all that and also write just like 1 million books very fast, 1, good for you, man. And 2, please come out with the sequel. Keep doing paranormal, because I don't know if I'm going to try her contemporaries again. I might, just because like this book felt so different from Love Hypothesis, not just obviously in subject matter, but the writing is just a lot better in this, and you can tell she's like really been working at it. So I might go check on her newest release. Okay, so I laid out my entire little stack of books to read. This is not technically part of my possible keep or eat. Oops, I just bought it. These are all of them. And I think I'm gonna go with Prior of the Orange Tree. Forgive my leg, I keep hitting it. I don't know why. But, right, so I picked Prior of the Orange Tree, which, as you can see, it's a famously very big book from the author of The Bone Season, which I think those books are also insanely huge. But I've had this book since like Christmas 2019. Me and Sarah each bought a copy because it's huge and it was intriguing to us at the time. We just thought, oh, we should get this because, you know, we had a gift card for Amazon or something for Christmas. So we were just like, well, this book's huge. This will look cool on our shelves. She has long since unhauled her copy. Actually, I think I stole this from her too. That happens sometimes. Actually, I don't know if she's ever kept a book I've unhauled, but I have kept several that she's unhauled. I actually stole a Sean McGuire book the other day. But yeah, so I'm doing Prior of the Orange Tree, and I would tell you the premise, but I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure that I remember people being upset because there's a dragon on the front, but there's not actual dragons in it. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking there's a book, but I'm hopeful I'll like this one. It's FF, I believe. I did look at the inside flap, and I think the main character, it says, is an unwed queen who has to have a daughter, which if she's the main character, it's probably not going to work out because I think she's gay, and that's like the thing of this book. Again, I don't know. I have the audiobook. I bought it on Audible like 2 years ago and never read it. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. The thing is, it's a 25-hour audiobook, so there is a really good chance I'm going to start it in this vlog and not finish it until later because realistically, I don't have that kind of time. Yeah, about the Starless Sea, I don't even actually know why I did it. Frankly, any book that I've had on my shelf for longer than 2 years that I haven't read, I kind of regret buying because I was just getting anything that looked interesting. I've said this 1,000 times, but that is no more. I'm no longer doing that. So once I whittle these away, then I will not have to face my shame anymore. And I can pretend I didn't make these mistakes and be a liar to myself and all of my loved ones. Okay, so I'm 1 hour out of 26 hours into Prior of the Orange Tree, and ruh-roh. So this is like the physical marker of how far in I am. Chapter 4. I don't think I can technically say that I don't like it, but I am so bored, and I don't know what's going on with my brain, but I just cannot compute what is happening. And I think one of the issues is that there's 3 points of view, or at least like 3 main characters. I think maybe more points of view because I'm just like, obviously I haven't learned the names yet. So I just keep hearing a bunch of names, and they're fantasy names. So that makes it worse to try and keep up with all of it. I'm very worried. I have no idea what the premise is still, so I'm like just looking at the back flap. It's just war. I don't know. I bought this because of the size, so I should have. This isn't Samantha Shannon's fault, but I shouldn't have bought this because the premise doesn't even sound interesting to me. I'm just gonna read you, or I'm gonna skim through the inside flap because I cannot on my own figure out what the hell this is about. So it says there's a queen who's unwed and she needs to conceive a daughter to protect her realm from destruction, but assassins are getting closer to her. And then there's a character who's an outsider at the court, and she's a lady in waiting, and she keeps an eye on the queen, protecting her with hidden or forbidden magic. And then there's another character who is training to be a dragon rider, and they have to like avoid war, I guess. And I don't know what to do. I bought this. I own this. I bought the audiobook. I have 2 copies of this 26-hour long / 900-page book, and frankly, I don't want to read it. I'm an hour in, which is like, it's such a small fraction. It's such a small bit. So it feels like DNFing at this point is like unfair, but I mean, look at this giant stack of books that I have to read, and that's Just my immediate TBR, I still have other books on my bookshelf that I haven't read. And I have comic books that I haven't read. I have a lot of books that I have not read that I want to read. So, do I give up an hour in and cut ties with this book and accept that I bought it 5 years ago when I shouldn't have, and I just don't care about reading it, and I bought 2 copies needlessly like an idiot, and just let it go? Or do I try and push through? So I ended up switching back to Not the Witch You Wed. And I was wrong before, because I had flipped through and I thought that they didn't sleep together until the very end of the book. Disappointed to find that they do 55% in when they have sex for the first time. And I guess that's like, I don't know. Now, I was enjoying this book before, but then I read The Bride, which I feel like is just a better version of this, so it makes me like this one less. So going from such a good slow burn to this one where they've already had sex halfway through, yeah, bit of a letdown. And also the sex scene wasn't very good. I thought the one in Bride was described really well, and like, I'm not like a sex scene person, but you know, when you care about the couple, you want it to be good. This one was like really fast. She put more effort into describing the lead up than the actual sex. Basically, it was like half a paragraph and then it was over. Like no emotional descriptions, really, barely any physical ones. Overall, it's a 3 out of 10. Very, very disappointing, because I thought the one for all the sexual scenes in Bride were really great. Very emotional, and then the physical descriptions too. This one was phoned in, and I'm concerned now because obviously they've admitted to like kind of having feelings for each other, but also not. So it's like, what's the rest of this book going to be filled with? And I have a terrible feeling it's going to be miscommunication-y stuff, and I'm kind of now thinking I might not keep it, even though I'm sort of enjoying it. I thought I was enjoying it before I actually read a book that I really did enjoy, because I had just been in such a bad reading slump where I wasn't liking anything, and then I read something that I kind of liked, and it immediately got blown out of the water. I'm not sure how this is going to go. What are you holding?
That's something you hate.
Why are you holding it?
Because you don't want to be on camera.
I guess not. Yeah, so, okay, my decision is I'm going to DNF this book. I got an hour and a half in to a 26-hour-long audiobook, and I hate it. It made me bored. I hate it. I don't want to keep doing it. I hate it. I just don't want to read it. Am I allowed to stop? Do you sanction this?
Yes. All 4 of us do.
I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. It's finished. It's over. Thank you. This is the unhaul pile. And I'm putting...
Stop adding to it.
Oh, I know. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. What do you mean we?
I carry it downstairs most of the time. You've done it once. I've done it every other time.
I have bad knees.
Well, don't be like, what do you mean we?
Why are you mean to me?
Hi, guys.
What are you reading?
Nothing.
Oh. You might not be seeing her much in this vlog then. Nothing?
Nothing.
Not a dang thing? Not a ding dang thing?
Not a ding dang thing.
Oh, man. Well, my keeper or yeet is going really poorly because I haven't kept a single book so far. So
Is this part 2?
No, it's just whatever, because I read The Bride or Bride. Right. So, whoops, not going great. I'm currently putting my clothes away, but I picked a new book after my Priory of the Orange Tree failure. I went to the library audiobook section to see what was available, and I got, I think it's called My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. I'll put the picture up so you can see. You probably recognize it. The premise is basically a young adult. She needs a place to live, and there was an ad in the paper for a very, very cheap brownstone or apartment-esque building thing. And the guy in the ad was like, I'm never home at night, and I won't bother you in the day, so it's perfect if you want it, for if you have a normal schedule. So that's just the premise. The premise is in the title. Girl, are you cleaning yourself right now? The cat's cleaning herself right now. Girl moves in with a vampire. Doesn't know he's a vampire, obviously. Fine premise. Cute little rom-com premise, in case you haven't picked up that it's a rom-com. I'm in a very romancy mood, so I grabbed a bunch of stuff from the library, hoping I find something good, and I'm pessimistic. Because the thing is, I haven't felt like I've read a really, really great, amazing book in a long time. House of Leaves aside, the Bride by Allie Hazelwood was so good. I loved it so much. And it's the first book I feel like I've really, really loved since like Slewfoot. And that was a long time ago. I think that was a year and a half, 2 years ago. But the point is, like, reading Bride, maybe it's just the right time or whatever, but it was one of those books that made me remember why I love reading so much. And the problem with that is it's so good and then it's over. And then it's over forever until she eventually makes a sequel, which I'm hoping to God she does. But that's not a guarantee that I'll love it. I'm trying to find books that I love. My first impressions are, it feels like someone's first book, and I think it is. And I don't know how to say that in a way that doesn't sound a little mean when I explain how I mean that. It's that the way she gives out exposition, the way the story's being told, it just is very first time writery, very young. The main character is 32 years old, and she talks like a quirky teenager or early 20s, which I hate quirky. I hate it. She's very much like, so she shows up to look at the brownstone or whatever. She just came from a little event where she's painting with kids or whatever, and she's covered in paint, and she's like, oh my God, he's the hottest guy I've ever seen, and I look like an absolute mess. I'm covered in paint. There's no way he can find me attractive. I'm covered in paint. And I hate that. I hate that a lot. It's really lame. I'm enjoying the book fine so far, but it's that kind of stuff that gets me. It's just like any woman who's ever tried to date men knows that there's nothing you can really do to deter them. You could throw up on his feet, and if he wants to bang you, he wants to bang you. It's not gonna throw him off. A little paint on your overalls or whatever, it's not gonna do anything. So I don't like that thing of like, oh, he could never find me attractive. I have paint on the back of my hand. But it's just, it's fine. I'm just venting. Maybe I'm just bitter because Priory the Orange Tree went terribly. And also, Not the Witch You Wed isn't going great. Kind of bummed about it, but I'm hoping I really like this book. It's not very long. I should finish it tonight. If I keep reading, I have to put all my laundry away, so I have some time, but I'll check back in when I have a new thought about it. It's been 5 minutes. I'm still gonna keep reading. I'm not gonna stop. Just another quirky, annoying thing happened. So this vampire, part of why she's sketchy on the apartment is because it's $200 a month for rent, which if you are alive, which I assume you are, you know that's really, really low. So she shows up and she's talking to him and she's like, why is the rent so low? And he's like, what do you mean low? And it's because he's an old vampire. He's got no concept of the fact that $200 for a month of rent is actually low nowadays. And like, he's like coming off like a Dracula vampire, which could be funny. That's the thing, is all this could be funny. The fact that he's just got like no earthly concept of what rent could be is funny, but it's not funny in the book. Like, she's not making it funny. Whether that be a skill issue or that's not what she's going for, I don't know. But that's kind of quirky that I don't like. And maybe I should have guessed, because on the cover he's hanging upside down. And like, this might be entirely my fault. So if you like quirky, I know a lot of people do, maybe you'll love it. That's why I didn't read the last Allie Hazelwood books, because they're just too quirky for me. I haven't even finished putting my laundry away yet. But I'm going to do that and read more, and I'm hoping that this is at least fun. Because if it's fun, I will forgive all. That is genuinely my line. Just be fun. I think I can better pinpoint the kind of stuff that actually annoys me. It's like in the inner monologue, she's asking questions we know the answer to, and it's happening constantly. Like, she's in the apartment for the first time moving in, and she's like, wow, this kitchen's so clean. It's like it's never been used. But that can't be possible, can it? And it's just that constantly. Like, oh wow, it looks like he hates the sunlight. All the walls are dark and the curtains are drawn. It's, if it was once in a while, that's fine, because obviously you're gonna notice things. But it's like every paragraph, and it's probably just the beginning because it's exposition. I'm sure once she figures out he's a vampire, that's going to stop. But it's not just about him being a vampire. It's also like, he couldn't possibly think I was put together and a good roommate because I'm covered in paint. And like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Why am I complaining so much? Am I in a bad mood? I don't know. To be fair, I am cutting up one of my hammocks I have from my rats who just died, because I'm making their memorial jars with their fur in it and stuff. So maybe that's why I'm not in the best mood, but I'm just working on getting scraps. I don't know if I've showed the jars here, but when a rat dies, I make little jars for them, because the vet decided to make the paw prints really inaffordable. So that's what I do. I put flowers in there, sometimes crystals, dirt from their dig box, pieces of hammock. This is the last hammock they both used, because they died so close together. I didn't change it because it happened very fast, so I didn't need to change it. So I'm putting pieces of this hammock in both of their jars, and I might get some pieces from their favorite hammocks before I pack them all away, I guess. So that's what I'm doing while I read this book that I was hoping was going to be fun and happy, and it's just making me kind of irritated. So, I guess I set myself up for failure tonight, but what are you gonna do? Stop doing what's making you sad? No, why would I stop doing what's bumming me out when I can continue to do it? Good news, I'm liking it more. They do, at the beginning of chapters, a little bit of stuff from his point of view, sort of like text or emails. This has a diary entry. She was showering, she finished showering, she walked out of the bathroom, and they accidentally ran into each other semi-naked. And she's already got a thing for him because he's hot, I guess. But we don't know much about him. So that scene ends. And it goes to his diary entry, and he's writing in his diary about how he's upset because she made him horny. And that's not a thing, I guess, that's happened to him in a while. And he's like, I have to find out if her parents are alive so I could go formally apologize because she made him horny. And that's amazing. That's perfect. More of that, please. So she catches him, well, I don't know how to phrase it. She finds out he's a vampire about 25% in, which is a little early for my for my taste. But, I suspected this book was going to go really fast pacing wise, because like, she saw him and immediately was lusty after him, and then we find out that he is also lusty after her. So I'm a little worried about how fast this is going to go. I really hate it when they sleep together too soon. I'm sure I said this before, like a real slow burn. I don't think this is going to be a slow burn. Still enjoying it just fine. I finished with my laundry and with cutting up hammocks. So I got 75% of this book left. And I found out there is a sequel with his friend character, because there's another vampire. So if I like this, I can just go read that. But so far, it's fine. I don't regret reading it. I don't think it's bad, which is better than I can say about a lot of stuff I've read lately, because my unhaul endeavors have been like really grim. Just, it's not going good. All the books that have disappeared, I've gotten rid of. We got a surprise Jewish character. Our lead character, she's Jewish. The only way I found that out is because she said she went to Nordstrom to get a dress for her bat mitzvah. But then she said she was 13. Girls have those when they're 14. Boys have their bar mitzvahs when they're 13. So, I mean, I guess she could have been preparing for it when she was 13. But I don't know if it was a mistake made by the author or what. I just thought I'd mention she's Jewish, I guess. Okay, so they're about to sleep together slash in the middle of sleeping together. And I have a small complaint, shockingly. Earlier in the book, I told you about the part where he wanted to like talk to her parents to apologize for being turned on by her. And then there's a part where he saw her Instagram and she had like a bikini picture on it, and he was like scandalized and horribly offended. And he so he's old-fashioned. That's the whole thing. That's the impression you get. And I just anticipated there being like a little thing where before they slept together he would hesitate because of that, because she set it up a bunch, but he didn't. And I'm not like bothered, but it seems inconsistent with his character. And because I thought he would have hesitation with kissing her too, because he kissed her earlier and it was fine. He didn't have any issue whatsoever with that. But he, in way early in the book, he complained because he was like, he had a problem with a man and woman who are unmarried living together. And now he's just having sex with her outside of marriage, and he didn't even have like a throwaway line about it or anything. I just thought that was weird, and I don't know why she wouldn't just throw in a couple lines about it. His hesitation was like, oh, you don't know what it's like to be a vampire. You wouldn't want to be a vampire to be with me. And it's like, bro, you're not even like officially together yet. Why are you freaking out about this? But I think like 80% in, and they're finally about to sleep together. See, it'd be funny if I went through all this and then I press play again, and then it turns out they don't sleep together because of him being hesitant. In that case, I might just delete this whole clip, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. The story makes it sound like he had like been with women before. I guess they didn't establish for sure. He said he had kissed, I guess, but I don't know if he slept with anybody. But I don't know. I wanted a couple funny lines about him being like, well, I can't do this. We're unmarried. It's wrong. But nothing. No, he's just going at her. He's just going at her. So I guess, well, it's fine. It's fine. It's fun so far. It's dark and I apologize. I have one complaint about their sex scene. Again, yeah, so he for sure didn't have hesitations because of his gentlemanliness. But she said in her inner monologue, because he went down on her, very weird, by the way, because he went down on her and then she fell asleep for 15 minutes and then she woke up and she went down on him. And I am offended on her behalf because she said she'd only had someone go down on her a few times. It was one boyfriend in college and it was bad and rushed because he just wanted to get to sex. But then she goes on to say that, I don't know how many boyfriends she had or whatever, but she's basically insinuated she would go down on her boyfriends when she had them, but they didn't do it with her, I guess, which is rude. It's rude unless there's like an established thing because of good reasons. I am just, that's a PSA. Fellas, don't do that to your girlfriend. Don't not reciprocate, and don't only reciprocate because you think you need to. Try and care about her. Try and care about her joy. The more you know. They never had him say anything about being upset about any premarital stuff, but they did have a line in there where he says back in the day when he was a vampire, I still don't know about him being human and what he did when he was human, but when he was a vampire, he said that he was kind of off the deep end with blood and it made him kind of wild, and he had sex with, quote, anything on two legs, and he specifically said men and women. So is this an attempt to make a bisexual icon vampire? I'm open to it. I'm happy for it. But the problem is he hasn't mentioned anything about being attracted to men at all, and he hasn't shown it. And the line was vague enough that I don't know if the insinuation that was that the bloodlust made him have sex with men when he maybe wouldn't have done that previously. Because I don't know if it is supposed to, I'm not sure if they wanted him to previously have been like a rake, kind of, or the bloodlust making him do things. He said right before his 100-year coma, he had changed his ways a little bit and he was trying to be better, which still, it feels inconsistent to me because, so you went from these behaviors of doing these things to being pretty adamantly against it. And it kind of just comes off weird when his natural response to like seeing her in a bikini was to be upset, and that he would have these thoughts when he hadn't always lived like that. In fact, he lived way more of his life apparently going off and sowing wild oats and stuff. So I guess I'm having a hard time trying to explain why I find that to be off. But it's like, okay, so at one point you live just having sex with whoever, not married, and that's fine. But then you're going to be kind of like high and mighty about the proper stuff and don't post pictures of yourself in a bikini. And I guess I don't know. It just feels inconsistent is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I just finished the book, and I want to say I'm still cheesed off by the fact that there was like a one-sentence reveal that he was a hooligan back in the day, because they were kissing in the bathroom of a party, and he got all flustered and upset because people would know that they were in there kissing. I just think she maybe should have reconsidered that one line, because it's really, really inconsistent with every single thing he does. And I cannot stop thinking about that. But yeah, he was literally just like, oh no, if we both walk out of here, or like someone knocked on the door and he's like, oh, they're going to know that we were in here doing something. They're going to think we were sleeping together. And it's like, why would he care about that? If, first of all, he knows it's 21st century and things are different. And he used to live the kind of life where he probably did do stuff in bathrooms. Whatever, it's fine. But anyway, I finished the book. Little bit of spoilers. It ends, because I was curious if they're going to do this, because typically with a book where like one's a vampire, or basically where one is mortal and the other is immortal, typically in a romance, by the end they have the mortal one become immortal. They like to have it be kind of like taken out of control of their hands. Like they don't, for some reason, a lot of the time want the character to choose to do it, at least with what I've read. So I was wondering how this would go. I thought that she would get turned by accident or by someone to like hurt him, but she ends the book human, and it ends with him proposing to her. He wants to get married, and he asks her to consider turning into a vampire, with the heavy implication that she's going to say yes to becoming a vampire, and she did say yes to the marriage proposal. And there's a sequel to this book. It is going to be one of the other characters, his vampire friend, and a character I think that popped up really briefly. It's going to be their romance. I am suspecting in that book they're going to show her, our Cassie from this book, either turning into a vampire or in her early days of being a vampire, because the epilogue of this was 1 year later. This was fun. I don't feel like my time was wasted. So I gave it 3.5 stars. Not amazing, but certainly not bad. It was cute. That's all I have to say. Okay. Once and for all, I am finishing Not the Witch You Wed, and if I don't finish it, it's because I died. Do you understand? It's because I died, and my corpse cannot listen, and my eyeballs cannot see. I'm finishing this book tonight, or I'm gonna lose it. I'm just gonna lose it. I need to be done with it. I need to move past it, and then the video is over. I'm gonna finish this, and then I'm gonna be done forever. And unless the last 2.5 hours of this book are spectacular, she's going in the unhaul pile. The half-price books box will have another victim. I swear to God I'm gonna finish it. I swear to God I'm gonna finish it. I'm pleased to announce it is over. I'm gonna give a quick summary of my final thoughts. I enjoyed it in the beginning, and then at some point I just kind of stopped caring what was happening. The characters were fine to begin with, but I never felt like they got deep enough for me to really care, and I think the problem between them was just kind of dumb. He couldn't tell her why he left her when they were teenagers because of a spell, and it's just like, ugh. And spoilers for the ending, because I want to talk about how I don't really love this trope. it turns out they're true mates, which is a thing, and that's why his dad broke them up. They're true mates, and that would have made him lose all his power over the wolves, so he had his son leave her. And this is what I don't love. I don't love specifically when in the world mates are, or true mates or bonded mates or whatever, like the uber mates is super rare, and then the main characters just happen to find that. I don't necessarily, I understand coincidences need to happen for books to happen, but I just don't love this particular thing. I just don't like when it's considered rare, because then it's just like, oh, well, of course it's happening. This unbelievably rare special thing, because it automatically makes it like, oh, their love is this unbelievable, crazy phenomenon, when it's fine. It doesn't need to be. Love can just be love, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be special, predetermined by the gods love. That's, I like Black Dagger Brotherhood. It's probably how I would prefer it the most, is like, you can become someone's mate. That's how real life is. I don't believe in destiny in that way. And I know it's paranormal and destiny is a thing, but it's just like, there's something about this idea. And like, Bride did it a little bit, but I wasn't terribly bothered, where your mate is predetermined. I don't know how rare it is. They made it sound like it was pretty rare, but you see them, and if you're a wolf, I guess you smell them and you just know. So it's not about falling in love or working well together. It's just something fate has decided. And I just don't, it feels bleak to me almost, I guess, of like, you have to hope that you stumble upon the exact correct person at the right time and the right things happen, versus you meet someone, you fall in love, and they become that thing. So that's how the book ended. I'm not going to read the sequels. I just didn't like the second half. I didn't think the characters were strong enough to carry it. So I didn't hate it, didn't love it, and that's where I choose to lay my final thoughts. Thank you for sticking with this. I'm so sorry it took so long for me to finish reading this book, and all for nothing. It's very unfortunate. I wish I was better, but I'm not. I'm garbage. I will see you next time. Goodbye.